How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
Pakistan have huffed and puffed their way to a score. 241 bowled out, 2 balls shy of their 50 overs after Mohammad Rizwan won the toss, remember, and wanted to bat first. It's perhaps a little more than what our panel thought they'd get. On our pre-show, we look back at an innings and the pace of the innings and what that score means for this India-Pakistan game in the Champions Trophy. On Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket Info Match Day, powered by Coca-Cola. Still in the company of Anil Kumble and Sanjay Manjrekar. Sanjay, 230, just short of it. Anil said 230, so at 241, would Pakistan be happy?
Not really.
No.
And that is the problem when you're batting first. Now, what happened in that particular batting performance was they were okay. You know, Saud Shakil was batting, and there was a partnership there developing, and all was okay until they were going at 4 runs and over. But then they had to accelerate, and they knew India have a strong batting lineup. So this is the problem when you're batting first. You have a target in mind. And in trying to up the tempo and trying to reach that target, that is when they started losing wickets. As long as they were in cruise mode, going at a certain pace, it was fine. Once they had to raise the tempo, that's when the wickets started coming, and the inevitable has happened. And Anil and me, not way off the mark with the prediction, so we didn't get it too wrong, Ronak. So it should be, yeah.
Very well. Anil, how would you describe that batting innings?
Yeah, I thought between, after they lost Babar Azam and when Rizwan came in, it looked a bit laborious, between that 11th over till about the 23rd, 24th over. They were literally struggling to get off strike. And that's, I think, something that Pakistan, probably because of the pressure that they are under, yes, the surface is on the slow side. I thought this surface looked slightly better than the one
Yes.
that India played against Bangladesh, at least from the visuals of watching, bowlers bowling and then batters actually comfortably taking those runs. So in that sense, I think they are way short of the mark in terms of power score. They'll have to bowl exceptionally well to defend this target.
You concurred with that when we were watching the game. That's a better surface. Does it therefore strike you as a team that was just nervous, worried about getting bowled out or playing big shots?
No, I thought they tried to sort of correct what happened in the last game. Pakistan didn't want to put in another disappointing batting performance. There was a little bit of urgency in the way Babar Azam was batting. And it was nice to see Saud Shakil and Mohammad Rizwan. There was a patch when Jadeja came in where they were playing sweep shots, and there were 4 consecutive fours with the sweep shot. So, yeah, they tried their best, but it all just comes down, and unfortunately it comes down to Pakistan's ability. Could they have done better? Did they play some bad shots? You can't point too many fingers in those areas because it seems like with this current batting lineup that they have and the talent that they have, this is the best they could have done given the quality of bowling that India have. There's only one batter that really stands out who had the potential of making something happen is Salman Agha. Even in the last game when he came out to bat, he just looks like who might just be troublesome for mainstream opposition. The rest seem to have some kind of a limit on what they can contribute.
Yeah, that's a point Sanjay has made often about just the limitations that Pakistan have in terms of ability. But I thought, Anil, today they tried to come in differently. Rizwan hit the first ball for 4. It looked like Babar Azam meant business. If you look back at that partnership now, 104 of 144, it's not what modern-day match-winning ODI partnerships are made of.
No, certainly. When Rizwan came out and hit that 4 of the first ball, I thought maybe that's what the momentum shift is going to be. But then again, when you looked at that 10, 12 over period, they looked very circumspect. They were worried about getting out and losing the momentum. And that's probably one of the things that you don't want to see in a 50 over game, and especially in white ball cricket. You can't be thinking of a survival mode at any given point in time. You still have to sort of look like getting runs. I mean, I know the bowling was really good. Shami and Hardik Pandey, I think in particular, bowled exceptionally well. He bowled in good areas and ensured that the batters didn't get enough room. So it was mostly wicket to wicket, but the batters hardly did anything to sort of change the length or the line of the bowler. And that's something that you can't. You can't allow the bowlers to bowl. India is a really good bowling side, and you can't allow good bowlers to just continue to consistently bowl in good areas. And if you allow them, this is the
Yeah.
outcome. So I felt that on a pitch like this, still need a 270, 275 to challenge India.
Sure.
Yeah.
Was Hardik Pandya India's best bowler?
Yes, and a reminder as to what Hardik does on the big stage. I mean, Pakistan is not a quality opposition, but the stage is big, and we've seen him in semis and finals. It just reminds you of his value to the team. His bowling has been slightly off color. He's not quite made an impact with the ball in the home series as well against England, but great to see him pick an important wicket. Babar Azam was looking good today and got him out, and generally economical right through. And yeah, could have got a third wicket if a catch was taken. Hardik Pandya, great value. Sometimes, his bowling is not obviously impressive, but this is a guy who will deliver on the big nights, whether it's an IPL night or a World Cup game. And today, India's bowling wasn't at its best, and that is something Pakistan should be telling them. So Mohammad Shami can bowl better. Kuldeep Yadav can be a lot better.
Start from Shami surprised us, isn't it?
Yeah.
5 wides, and yet it wasn't like they flew away in the first few
So
overs.
I just have no criticism of Pakistan's the way they batted. It's just about limitations. This is their limit. This is the best they can bat given the conditions. And it's unfortunate. India's bowling wasn't at its best. Bumrah was not playing. Harshit Rana is a new seam bowler. And of course, Axar and Jadeja are your insurance cover. It's hard to get those two away. Yeah, superior bowling attack, and Pakistan with a lot of limitations, and I agree with Anil, way short.
Let's get the perspective from the Pakistan voice. Uruj Mumtaz joins us as well now. Summation of the chat so far, Uruj, is they tried their best, but this is all they could really get. At the same time, Anil says they were too circumspect, worried perhaps about losing wickets. You look at the Rizwan innings and the partnership and the pace of it. What have you made of the first innings so far?
Yeah, I think that big partnership in the middle, that was the one that probably held Pakistan back from maybe another 20, 25 runs at the end, which looked likely throughout the innings because there was time in the game, there was wickets in hand, and there were overs left. They just couldn't capitalize. Again, I think nobody in that top order was brave enough to say, fine, I'm going to have a go. I'm going to obviously, there's always risk and reward in no, none of them were like, I'm going to have a go and go for the big shot. Some of the shots were almost when they were bogged down and it was a release shot. But I think, and the discussion I just heard into it as well, where India probably weren't at their A game with the new ball. 9 wides, Shami didn't start off very well. There were a few half trackers, a few loose deliveries. So it wasn't India's best bowling performance today. But having said that, Pakistan probably didn't make use of it as much as they could. And I feel they maybe left 25 odd in the tank in that middle phase where everything was a bit too slow.
I think Saud Shakil finishes at a strike rate of 80, and we spoke of Rizwan Uruj starting off with a boundary, and he thought, right, maybe Pakistan are up for this. They'll play this game differently. Can you explain what followed with Mohammad Rizwan in particular in the innings?
Yes, I spoke to you at the start of the show where we said that in that middle, when the squeeze will be on from the Indian spinners and if the boundaries are hard to come by, they will have to run hard between the wickets. I think Mohammad Rizwan, time and again, is at the fault of chewing up a lot of dot deliveries. And in that, then there is one release shot that comes out. Where I think he was about on 40 odd from something like 70 deliveries at the point where he looked like taking another release shot. He was 30 off 68 at one point when he hit that 1-4. And Saud, on the other hand, is not the normal aggressor. It is Rizwan who is normally the aggressor when he does get going and he does get set. So I feel Rizwan, his 46 from 77 at what? Strike rate of 59 just wasn't good enough. Because we're talking about a team where the best bat in the team is obviously out of form, hasn't been churning out those big runs, was at the fault of that lack of intent in that first game, and he got out early. Imam, that unfortunate run out. So I think it was down to Rizwan as captain to put his hand up and show that brave attitude, and maybe even not just trying to wash everything down, but just maybe better strike rotation, which I thought was the massive fault, and probably applied a little bit more pressure on Saud as well.
Just can I ask Uru something? Is it the name India that they're playing more than the actual bowling? I mean, just the same quality of bowling with a different nation. Would they play differently? Is that coming into play now with the slightly weakened Pakistani team, you think?
Maybe off late, maybe not, because if you see the way they played against New Zealand, it was similar. Even off late, you see them, they get into this hole where they just put unnecessary pressure on themselves, and I mean, we keep talking about Virat Kohli. Yes, he might be out of form, but there is time and again, all these great players find a way by turning the strike over. You want to get down the other end. And today, India's bowling allowed for that. They allowed for the strike to be rotated, and that's where I think Pakistan lacked. So it wasn't purely down to India. I think just off late, the quality in that top five hasn't just been able good enough.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk about India's bowling though. We made the point of Hardik Pandya. I think you and Anil have differing points on Shami, which I'll come to in a second. But let's start with Kuldeep Yadav. 3 wickets, all 3 right towards the end when Rohit Sharma was keen to bowl him, Anil, in the last 10 as well. How did Kuldeep go today?
I thought he bowled well. Whenever batters look to attack him, it's not easy because you first have to pick which way it's going to spin from the hand, and only then you make a sort of shot. So it was always hard for any batter to come down the track and then pick Kuldeep. And once you, like I mentioned, once you get a wicket, you sort of confidence boost. I think this 3 wicket haul will certainly be good for Kuldeep. I thought he bowled really well. Initially, yes, he bowled just that 1 over, and then there was a bit of a break before he came back and bowled a slightly longer spell. But I think overall, Kuldeep was impressive.
The reason I bring up Kuldeep's wickets towards the end is we thought India have come into this tournament with a plan to strike in the middle. Bowlers that will get wickets in the middle. That's 2 games on the trot now, for whatever it's worth. That they've not really had wickets in the middle, and yet they'd be happy with the eventual score.
Slightly sort of vulnerable area for India if there are wickets in hand, and I'm looking at Australia with the way they batted, and New Zealand, and with Harshit Rana and Mohammad Shami in this form and Hardik Pandya, India might have their work cut out. So sure. I'm a very hard man to please, as you know.
I know.
Yeah, Anil Kumble knows as well. So I'm expecting Kuldeep Yadav to get wickets in the middle when the batters are looking to defend or pick 1s and 2s, because that is when Kuldeep Yadav is at his best, not later when batters are trying to break the shackles, and that's how he gets his wickets. But Anil is right. 3 wickets will give him a lot of confidence, but I'd like to see him get wickets like he usually does, going through the defensive batters and leading edge, trying to play one on the onside, and those kind of wickets, and not the Rashid Khan kinds.
Okay, very good. Anil, give me a quick judgment on the way the 2 left-arm spinners bowl. If there anything to add, please add.
No. I just wanted to tell Sanjay that now that he's picked up 3 wickets, he has the confidence. I'm sure he'll look to go through defense of the New Zealanders in the next game. But just getting back to the spinners, I thought spinners bowled well, both Axar and Jadeja. There was a little bit of turn. It was holding up a little bit, not that much that they got during Bangladesh's game. But that's where I felt Pakistan could have taken advantage. They sort of sat back. Saud Shakil is a left-hander. There was Rizwan who was right-hander. Rizwan sweeps well. Both of them could have perhaps looked to attack the left-arm spinners at least. Not Kuldeep, because Kuldeep can beat both edges. So someone like Jadeja and Axar, these 2 guys could have gone after a little more or sooner at least. But that's something that when you're sitting back, then these 2 spinners will not leave their length. And Jadeja just finishes his over so quickly that before you realize, even if you have hit a boundary, it's only 4 runs at the end of the over. And that's the kind of spell that Jadeja can do.
Ronak, I'm sorry, but what about Akshar Patel? I mean, it's a player that we don't talk about too much. But Akshar Patel has become this player in the middle that gives you a lot of confidence, and you just feel sort of relaxed. There's going to be Akshar Patel. If Jadeja doesn't have a great day, Akshar Patel could bowl his 10 overs plus with the bat as well. So this player right in the middle of this whole Indian team gives you a lot of comfort, doesn't he?
You seem
yes.
that.
The good thing about Axar is, on these surfaces, he gets a little more bounce than a Jadeja or a Kuldeep. And that's something that you can't really get under as a batter. So it hits the slightly top of the bat, and you feel that, look, you're not getting those runs, and that slowly starts putting pressure. Yes, sometimes Axar gets the wickets, or the bowler from the other end gets wickets.
I think it augurs well for India. They used to think Akshar's better suit is the batting, and on a good day you'll get more overs out of him, but he seems to be improving as a one-day bowler now.
Absolutely.
Right. Very good in the field as well, inflicted a run out early on. Now, before I move to the second innings, I want to talk about Shaheen Shah Afridi. But since we're talking about Shaheen Shah Afridi, Aruj, what about that review with the bat? I thought Shaheen Shah Afridi was one of the brighter cricketers, part of the leadership group and all that. I think we were all having a bit of a smile when he decided to take the review so instantly for what was a 3-red stonewall dead LBW.
Maybe we just let this one go. Maybe we don't delve in it. We try to figure out adjectives in this one.
How many reviews were left?
2.
So that's fine, isn't it, Uruj?
Yeah.
2 left. Might as well use it.
Might as well. What's the point of taking them home?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
fair
That's
enough.
what
I mean, if Mohammad Siraj can take a review as a night watchman in a test match against New Zealand,
Sure.
But
I started this by saying I thought Shaheen was one of the brighter members of the team.
Okay.
Right. On that note, let's talk about Shaheen Shah Afridi and what he's actually in the team for. Not to bat and take reviews, but to get wickets early on. A challenge for Pakistan, something we brought up with Uruj Mumtaz on the opening day of the tournament as well, is the challenge in the power play over the last couple of years. Naseem Shah was excellent against New Zealand. Shaheen Shah Afridi with an average of 31. Naseem Shah too with 38, but they tend to bowl him a little more in the middle. Uruj, what can we hope for as far as improvement goes from the last game if they need to make a fight of this?
Yeah, I think if we single out Shaheen Shah Afridi first, I think it's something in his attitude just doesn't allow him to quickly change from his strength. Now, his strength, according to him, and obviously everyone knows, is when he pitches the ball up and he's always searching for swing in those first couple of overs. What he's been at fault of lately is that when there is no swing, he keeps persisting with that line and that search for swing, and he ends up bowling half volleys and he gets driven through the line. I just feel if he's quick to understand that there is not a lot of swing, just come back and hit that hard length, keep it tight around that off stump, and just take the ball away. And then maybe bring it back in, but just bring the length back and be quick to do that. You need to be bowling in partnerships, like batting is in partnership. You need to be complementing and giving Naseem Shah the same kind of support from the other end, and that's where the two of them normally shine through. So, and they can derive plenty of inspirational performances in the past against this opposition in India. They've both done well, and I think Naseem is in really good form. Also, come down to Haris Rauf. I think Haris is in that middle, sometimes he gets a little bit too greedy in search of wickets as well. So either the full ones are too full and straight. So if you miss that, the margins of error are very tiny. What I felt they didn't do well enough in New Zealand, especially towards the back end. If they were going Yorkers, it became predictable because they were full and straight. None of them tried the wide angle across the right-hander to take it away from that arc. So I think just those kind of things to be smart and pick up on what the surface is doing and what the game requires if there is no swing.
Well, the numbers back a fairly simple point that we're making that Uruj Mumtaz talks about as well, that effectively Pakistan just don't strike as much as they want to in the power play with the ball. They're ranking 7th in terms of averages, 6th for economy, and 4th for strike rate.
Yeah, because when you're looking at 37 balls, that's more than 6 overs.
Correct.
And in the power play, you'll have a fast bowler bowling a maximum of, say, 4 overs, right? And that's 24 balls. So clearly,
so rarely do they get the team 2 or 3 down in the first 10. And India, we know, Anil, will play differently. Rohit and Shubman will come hard at them. They would have planned for this. How do you see the first 10 going if Pakistan are to try and make a game out of this?
Oh yes, I think both the Indian batters will come, at the Pakistan bowlers. I still feel maybe today there'll be a bit of swing because Shami in that first over that he bowled, he struggled to sort of control that. So maybe there'll be a bit of swing. First couple of overs, I think Rohit and Shubman will look or will at least wait for that ball to come back in, especially to Shaheen Afridi. They'll be watching for that. But otherwise, they'll certainly, after a couple of overs, I'm sure, once they get their eye in, they'll start to look to come at the bowler and try and score quickly in that first 10 overs.
And this is where Rohit Sharma is of great value because you're looking at a score that's not a huge one, but you sometimes worry if you then don't get a good start or you make heavy weather of what is not a big score to chase. He'll come and bat the usual way. He'll come and go after the bowling. And if he gets a 40, 45 or 20 ball, he just makes it a cakewalk for the rest. So even when the target is small, there's great value in the way Rohit Sharma will play. And on this pitch, where there's a little bit of bounce and not as slow and low and turning, in the last game, I see Rohit Sharma again doing India an immense kind of bonus
by the way he starts.
By the way he starts, yeah.
Great record against Pakistan. On screen, 51.3 is the average, nearly 900 runs. Kohli's got a great record as well. Maybe as far as India are concerned, that's something they're looking for. As tougher opposition comes their way, I don't mean to say this game is done, but you expect India to chase it.
Yeah.
But you need Kohli feeling good about a score and an innings going into the
I'd like
tournament.
to ask Anil actually, how do you think Virat Kohli will go and should go, considering it's not 310 runs to get?
I think the one thing that he will have to think of is just the scoreboard and not worry about the other technique or that he's thinking, saying I should be doing this, I should be doing that. The moment he starts, whenever he walks in, it could be 60 for two or 150 for two, whatever it is. I mean for one. Whatever it is, he just needs to look at the scoreboard and then just ensure that he bats through, and that is all he's been good at. The moment you start thinking or saying, I need to get runs today, that's when things to start happening between the years. So the moment you watch the ball and then say, okay, I'm here to get 241 here, how do I get that? Everything else comes in. So I don't think one needs to think too much. He's done that too often. So I'm sure when you play Pakistan, your best certainly comes out, and today could be that day where he goes in there and then gets runs for not just himself but for India.
Right. Final one, Uruj, for you in terms of whether Pakistan's spin can have any say. We know the challenges they do have. But Rizwan was proactive in bringing Abrar Ahmed in the first 10. We saw Rohit Sharma bring on his spinners early today. Is there a case for that today to just try and put India off?
Yeah, he'll have to do something. Obviously, the quick bowlers will have to set the game up, but if not, Abrar can come in again. He's not a big turner of the ball, and what Rizwan will be hoping from him is that he just keeps hammering that length, where he can bring maybe his mystery. If the wicket, like we saw the first part of it, not take too much turn. But I think the quick bowlers will have to set it up. I just don't think Pakistan have enough penetration in that spin department. And remember, the wicket is played far better than what we probably hoped from in the first game, which maybe doesn't bring the Pakistan spinners which they were hoping for if the wicket was similar to Bangladesh. But they've got the variety. They've got Salman in the off, and they've got Bhujtil the left arm off spin. So maybe some tossing and turning and not allowing India to bowl, because like Sanjay and Anil have been speaking, the top order will come hard at Pakistan. So let's have a look.
But it's a no-brainer. If Virat Kohli comes in and looks comfortable against Naseem Shah and the other two medium pacers, Abrar is the bowler to go to.
Yep.
And no matter whether there are two fielders outside the circle of four. So those kind of calls they have to take, I mean, every batter, they've got to have a plan, otherwise India will just...
I mean, this game isn't going 48, 49 overs if Pakistan are winning it. So they have to just throw everything
and get
at
Naseem
India.
Shah to bowl as much as possible, imagining that India will get there, if at all they get there in 40 overs. So use Naseem Shah more, use Abrar against certain batters. And if you see Shaheen Afridi or Haris Rao having a great time, the form is good, then use them. Not because they've been such good bowlers in the past, because this match is being played today, not in the past.
Well, very good. Given that we spend so much time on this mid-show, and we actually haven't spoken about the player who's in perhaps the peak of his form, and that's Shubman Gill. We don't have much time, so I'm just going to go with a quick one. When you have a player playing as well as he is, Anil, what's the perfect ball to bowl to Shubman Gill if you have to get him early?
You will have to bowl full, I think, full, and hope that it swings and he doesn't pick it. Because, if you're looking at that consistent length that generally fast bowlers bowl, then it becomes that much easier, because you'll have to do that really early on, maybe the first or second ball.
All right, imperious form. Let's get predictions. Uruj Mumtaz, how do we see this game going?
Oh, I think India's winning this one by 6 wickets.
All right, pretty comfortable then, Anil Kumble?
Yeah, pretty comfortable, yes, in about 43 overs.
Okay, Sanjay Manjrekar.
Exactly the same.
You're just copying Anil today, I've noticed.
No, I was disappointed when you said, I want a quick answer, that's why I'll go to Anil Kumble, which means I give long answers.
No, the quick was for everybody. It's not only for you.
Okay.
Yeah. The more you talk, the
He's
more...
still doing it.
I enjoy.
Yeah, exactly like my esteemed fellow my panelists, my prediction is the same.
Very good. You were a long format player. I expect you to show your craft.
And fellow panelists is okay, right? With one woman in the panel?
Yes, absolutely.
Not...
Yeah. This is where I must tell you to stop now. Thank you, Sanjay Manjrekar, Uruj Mumtaz, Anil Kumble. Let's pick up the chat at the end of the game, shall we? On Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Match Day, powered by Coca-Cola. India need 242.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.